Hi everyone, it's Michelle. Welcome back. So today I'm going to do my foundation routine for you. Hence, I'm here with no makeup on my face. I'm only going to do my actual sort of concealer and foundation routine today just to save some time, because I'm probably not going to speed through any of it because my routine actually goes fairly quickly. I don't use a whole lot of products, but I've had a lot of requests to do an updated foundation routine, so I thought I would do that for you guys today. So I always start with a primer, and one of my favorite primers, and I've talked about this before, is the Guerlain Meteorites primer. This is the one in Les Or, which was a limited edition last summer, I think, which you can't get anymore, but there is a regular Meteorites primer which works exactly the same. So if you can't get the Les Or, which I don't think you can anymore, the regular one works the same. This primer is for all skin types, and I think it works really well. You just take a pump and a half on your fingers, and this is how you're supposed to use it. Get it on your fingers, and you're supposed to stipple it all over your face, not rub it. That's how the Guerlain experts will tell you to put it on. Just kind of stipple it everywhere. It gives the skin a beautiful glow. This is a primarily water-based primer. There is some silicone in it, so if you're silicone sensitive, this might not be the right one for you, but it's not a silicone-based primer, so you don't get that super slick feel from it, but it does add a little hydration to the skin. It helps the makeup last longer, and it gives you a nice little glow. So I really like it, and it feels really nice on the skin. And this one, because it has a gold base, the Les Or, it does tend to help a little bit with my redness. It doesn't take it away completely, but it's a really nice primer. Okay, then I go and I do a little correcting of my under eyes, and I always do this before I do my foundation and my concealer, and I always reach for the Armani Master Corrector in number 1, the pink one. I love this. I just put this right here where I have the most darkness. I don't use a lot of it, and I keep it right where the darkness is. For those of you who use correctors and concealers under your eye, a tip I would have for you is to only put them where the darkness is, not put them everywhere, especially if you're worried about things settling into fine lines and wrinkles, because the less product you use, the better. And then I just kind of tap this in, and again, I stay right where my darkness is. I don't smooth it all the way under the eye. I just stay right where the darkest color is. You could use a brush for this. I tend to just use my ring finger. And I just pat it in until it's, pretty much there. I do have some bags today. My allergies are crazy. But it is what it is, and I had time to film, so we're going with it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is my actual foundation, and today I'm going to use 2 products. I'm going to use, for my foundation, I am going to use Armani Luminous Silk. This is in the color 4.5, which is not exactly right for me, but that's okay. So I take, and you'll have to excuse me, I can't see I have my mirror in front of me, so I can't really see the viewfinder to see what's going on. But anyway, I take 1 pump of that, and then I'm going to take a pump of the Armani Fluid Sheer in number 10, which is a bronzy color, and I will show you. So that's what the 2 of them, I'm looking in my viewfinder, look like together. Now you could mix them, you could go through the process of actually mixing them. I'm not going to. I'm going to use them just like this. I'm going to apply them today with a beauty blender. If I wanted heavier coverage, I would use the Dior foundation brush. I really like this brush, but today it's a weekend. I'm not doing a whole lot, so I'm going to go in with my beauty blender and the 2 products, and I'm just going to pick some up on the beauty blender. I just tapped it in there 1 time, and I always start kind of in the center of my face because that's where I need the most coverage. My nose and cheeks tend to be the reddest. And then I'm just going to pat it all over my face. I tend to work from one side to the other. And I am looking in my mirror, which is kind of why I'm looking away a little bit. And you just kind of pat it all over. I'm going in for some more for the other side. But you can see you don't have to mix the fluid sheer with the foundation before you apply it. It'll mix while you're patting it on the skin. There's no need to sort of mix them up first. If you really want to do it that way, you could, but it's just an extra step and I don't find that it's necessary. When I get to my neck, I tend to, instead of patting with the Beauty Blender, I tend to drag it just to make sure everything's sort of blended out on the skin. Then I'm going to go up on the forehead a little. Got my bangs clipped back, but I don't worry a whole lot about my forehead right now. I cut some bangs in my hair, so my forehead doesn't really show. And some people will say, oh, well, you should do it anyway on a casual day. I don't see the point of making sure everything is covered when it's going to be covered by my hair anyway. And I will take this and just kind of roll it under the eye a little bit as well. I think it's, you know, it's a light enough foundation. It doesn't create any problems for me. And then I have very little concealing to do. So you can see, I'm not sure with the light how it's looking because I can't see in the viewfinder, but you can see this gives me a nice medium coverage. I don't have a lot of things I need to cover, and as a matter of fact today I might not even, the only place I would add some concealer is under my eyes, and they're not looking that bad. Just because it's, you know, it's a Saturday, I don't need perfect coverage, and this to me is pretty good. I don't like to have a lot of products on my skin. I feel like the older you get, less is better. So I am going to add just a little bit of concealer under my eyes so you can see how I do that. My one of my favorite concealers for the face and under the eyes is the Chanel Corrector Perfection. I have talked about this before. It's a great lightweight concealer that does conceal. It doesn't seem to settle in fine lines and wrinkles for me, and it seems to wear really well throughout the day. So I just take a tiny bit. I think the other thing people get into when they start doing concealer under their eyes is that they put too much. So start with just a little bit and only use as much as you need instead of going in with a bunch of it. I think that that is where a lot of people get off track as well. So again, I would just tap this with my finger, and again, I'm only applying it where I feel like I have darkness. I get a little darkness here because it's a little bit hollow, and so I get a little bit of a shadow, so I add a little bit there. And then if I need to do any blending, I will do a little blending with my Marc Jacobs concealer brush, which I love. I'll show you, like, if you want to use a brush, this is a great brush for blending concealer. It works just like your finger. I like to kind of do my demos with as few brushes as possible, just because, you know, not everybody is brush crazy like I am, and I want people to know that it's fine. You can, you know, do the majority of your makeup really with no brushes or very few brushes. So, but this brush does help you kind of get rid of the darkness right here. It just sort of fits perfectly. Sometimes with your finger it can be a little hard to get in that hollow. So that's about all I would conceal. You know, if I wanted some perfect concealing, I would take the concealer, you know, around my nose a little bit. I'll just take what's left on the brush. I touch up, I get some redness on my chin as well. But that's pretty much what I'm going to do for today. I am going to set my under eye concealer, and I do that with a couple of different products. Today I'm going to use the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, which I don't know if I think this is all that brightening, but it's a really nice setting powder. It doesn't crease, it's not cakey, so I tend to use it quite a bit just because it works really well. There's a lot of great setting powders out there though that you could use. I only use this one under my eye, which is what it's for. And then when I go in to set the makeup on my face, I stay only in the T-zone because that's the only place my foundation breaks down at all, or I get oiliness. And so I like the rest of my face to stay glowy, when you put the, you know, master or the fluid sheer in your foundation, you get sort of this beautiful radiant look, and I don't want to kill that whole radiant look. I like that. I think it's very youthful. So today I'm going to set with my Makeup Forever Pro Finish, which is a powder foundation, but I use it just to set the T-zone. I'm going to go right in it with my Beauty Blender. I just take a little bit of it on the Beauty Blender and I just pat it right here on my chin. I pat it right here on my nose, and you can see it just takes the shine down just a little bit, and it adds just a hint of coverage. And then I'm going to put it right here in my T-zone. And that's the only place I'm going to powder my face, because I feel like, again, a glowy, dewy look is more youthful. So this is what I would do for my foundation. That's really all I use, is a little bit of concealer, a primer, and a good foundation. And now I've started mixing in a fluid sheer. And you can see the fluid sheer gives me a slightly tanned look even before I bronze, and a nice sort of luminosity to my skin, which I really like. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions, or if you have other products that you think are great for giving you sort of that dewy, glowy look, please feel free to share them below. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you all again soon.